Wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome. You're tuned into Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, NBC News, CNBC Sports, or NBC Sports radio station, KCAA AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, TuneIn, Audible, Amazon Music, Tiki Live, Rumble, Podchaser, Streaker, Spreaker, you name it, we're there. Why? Because there's just so much bad news out there. So on this show, we don't talk about anything that you're hearing anywhere else because it's probably the same. Bad news, CNN, constantly negative news. Instead, I want to balance out all that bad news with good news, good people, good topics, good fun. And today is Friday. I cannot believe this week just went like, and I know. But welcome back to the studio. You see him here. You then know it is Friday. Ricky Rebel is just such a wonderful co-host now on Fridays with the Hollywood Rebel, the Hollywood Ricky Rebel Report. He is my partner in crime. He's discovered by Michael Jackson, signed by Madonna, and toured with Britney. I mean, that's a pretty impressive lineup there. And if you
thank you.
Welcome back to my studio, Ricky.
Dr. Marissa.
Yay!
It's an honor to be here.
It is always a great time to be here too with you.
I look forward to Fridays, catching up with you.
It is so great. I know we were talking about that. It's the one thing with his schedule and my schedule, it would probably not happen if we didn't have a show to see each other every week.
But I talk more to you than a lot of my friends. So that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
I hope that I have,
for a longer period of time, definitely. I mean, we've got a whole hour together. It's great.
That's right. And we never have enough time, even then.
Yeah.
Just
right
saying.
after we just start talking more.
Yeah, it's just a delight. And so that's my first gratitude. Those of you who have never done this before, get ready. We have breakfast every single morning on my show. And I love doing breakfast with my co-hosts because we get to take a bite of my gratitude sandwich. Top of the bun is gratitude, things outside yourself that you like to start the day positively. And then on the bottom, because I like it on the bottom. Wrong show. No, the bottom, because it's about appreciation and what do I like about myself. And I see eyeballs and people are giving us fingers and hearts already. Not that finger, but this finger. Welcome to everyone who is streaming in, love streaming in right now. If you're driving, please do not do reactions or chat. But when you land, if you go to my YouTube TV channel, you will get an alert every morning that I'm on. And you can also now play with us as we have this wonderful hour with you. So first is, I'm grateful for Ricky Rebel. And even though we were joined by trauma, we are definitely moving past that trauma into the life jacket with the silver lining that we get to call this Friday show together. What are you grateful for?
I'm grateful that we have the ability to turn trauma into something positive. We take responsibility in that way. That I really am grateful that I can do that because it's hard in life to do that. It's a skill. It's a great.
And how.
Yeah.
And let's segue to appreciation then, because I appreciate my ability to move from but it's the principle, and how could they, and they shouldn't have, and I don't deserve this, which is pretty much a normal reaction when somebody does something to you that doesn't feel good. Of course you're going to react that way, and not to react that way is what we call a spiritual bypass. So I think it's important that we do feel all of those feelings, but the skill that Ricky is referring to that I am so appreciative that I have learned is to go through the pain and out into power. So we don't just there too long. So I have a rule. I only vent to one person and I get it out, and then I don't talk about it again. And if I start talking about it, my vent partner will say, hold on, you've already talked about that, so we're going to leave that alone. And then usually, 30 hours later, like I just got into it with someone on Monday night, and then I talked to one person, and then I was so mad because there's a button in me that if I do something to you, I deserve to get slammed. But if I don't do anything to you, why are you coming at me? Right? I'm sure you've had too, your
That just
haters.
happened recently.
Yeah. And I'm sure it's happened a lot, just like it's happened a lot to me. There's something about being out front that sort of attracts people for whatever reason to attack you. Social media, whatever. We can say that they're jealous. We can say that they are, they don't have a life, but that's mean-spirited back at, which is also negative again. So I've my skill that you talked about as a skill is not even rising above, because if you rise above, you're still condemning them and seeing them as less than.
Correct.
But for me I use INTBOAD. It's not that big of a deal.
Wow.
In
Yeah.
the whole scheme of
When you think about it,
lives.
so many things we blow. I do it. I'm guilty of it, big time.
Me too.
I blow it out of proportion, and you realize, like, the next day after that, you're just kind of like, why did I let that get to me? It's not important at all.
Right. And the opposite of hate is not love. The opposite of hate is indifference. So if you can get to that point, it's not that you don't care, but in the big scheme of things, it's not that important. That's a skill. And
That's a skill.
both of us are continuing to work on that.
Yeah.
And
Commitment to that.
morning, when I got a text from the trauma that pulled us together, the two of us laughed our assets off for a good 30 seconds, which is the best kind of reaction, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
kudos to us. We get applause
Kudos.
this morning for working on that skill, because we've worked.
Yeah. I've got more news on that one. We'll talk about that, I think, off air.
Hey, all righty. So,
but you gotta laugh. You gotta find the humor in it.
all right. If you've just tuned in, you're wondering why we're laughing our assets off here. This is the Hollywood Rebel Report, Fridays on Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It, Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show. And that was an abbreviated breakfast, taking a bite of our gratitude sandwich. I did want to just make it a little shorter this morning so we can try to get through the topic that we usually never have time to get through. And I also do want to mention that this show and series is brought to you by a wonderful person who is the author of a book that you're going to want to pick up. And the book itself, and we're going to smack it right in the middle here so we can see it, The Fear Problem, How Technology and Culture Have Hijacked Our Minds and Lives, by Dr. Patrick Lockwood. You can get that book on Amazon as well as Mascot Books. And he's going to be in studio this next month before I go to China. We're just going to try to get that schedule in, because you'll want to hear it's a research-based book. It's an excellent read. So thank you, Dr. Patrick Lockwood, for sponsoring this series. All right. We are, let's see. Deborah
Ooh.
is in studio. Too bad positivity isn't blown up in our minds as much as negativity. Great point. It is definitely a skill to just lick our wounds and move forward.
Mhm.
Yeah, good point. I'll say kiss our wounds. I'm not a fan of licking blood, but anyway.
Like a lion. Like a
That's your
lion. You
point.
should. You're a Leo.
And not only am I a Leo, I'm a Leo in 5 planets.
5 planets. That's amazing.
You know what
That's
that means?
amazing. That means a lot. It means a lot. You should be, front and center in everything you do,
Has to
basically.
be on top. Well,
Stage.
I said bottom before, but yeah, first, leading, on top, on camera.
You have to
Yeah,
be.
I
That's where you shine.
help
That's
it.
how you
And
shine.
the cool thing about that is when I found that out on the air with an astrologer, about
Mm.
8,000 pounds of shame as an Asian woman flew off my back. That was a momentous milestone I'll never forget, because I
Amazing.
would do it and then feel bad about doing it. 'Cause
I get it.
yeah,
Yeah, the
me
ego, you feel like it's coming from an egotistical place rather than from an authentic, "I like to have fun" place.
yeah, and
Yeah.
Chinese are particular. I know you thought I was Swedish, but there's a saying in the Chinese culture, "The nail that stands up is hammered down."
Right.
How's that for motivation to speak up
You
or
told me
be on
that.
camera?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
in astrology, there's something called a north node, which means it's your destiny. If you look up on your chart, the north
Mm,
node is when you're living your path and going the right direction in your life, the elements of this sign that is in your north node,
mhm.
you're going the right path. And mine is in Leo.
Ah,
My north node, the star, it points towards Leo. So when I am acting like a Leo, then I am following my destiny, which is the destiny of being in front on camera, pushing myself to be in front of crowds, pushing myself to, have the courage, because Leos are about courage. It's a lot about courage, having the courage to go out there, speak your mind, say what you got to, be front and center. And then the
yeah.
opposite sign is the south node, which is allegedly, what the lessons we learned from our past lives, and who we're turning into, who, what lessons we learned from that sign, we're moving on to the next sign. So for me, it was Aquarius, which was about being like they said, I was in a room, science, or kind of like, when I'm ever in that mode, my analytical mode, which I have, very analytical, that's when I'm moving away from my path, which is to be like the child, to have fun, to not think. Isn't that interesting?
It's very interesting. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go look at what my nodes are.
North node and south node. Check it out.
Yeah, for sure.
Powerful stuff. It's powerful.
I
I read a
love
book about the north node. Yeah.
learning new things for sure. And
Mm.
certainly, the show's about my happy 88 mission, 88 million more happy people. And certainly when you are feeling happy, you are in that north mode path for
Right.
sure.
Yeah.
And overthinking for you or taking things personally is my guess is your south node.
Yeah.
Uh,
And
where,
analyzing.
yeah,
Being
my
stuck in my room, like working on music too much, like by myself and not going out and collaborating with people. Like I went to a lot of shows recently. I rarely go to concerts, but I went to a concert and I saw other people perform and I got to, wow, congratulate them and be in there in the world, in the sphere. And I even got recognized by one of the performers that night who I was really, like, wow, you're amazing. His name was Danny Blue. And he's like, "You're Ricky Rebel. Oh my god, give me a big hug." And who would have known? But his set was amazing and everything. So that when I go out and I not stick in the room and just be the mad scientist, that's when I'm living my path.
Mhm, mhm. For me, my overthinking, I go to MSU University. I make shiitake up, right? If someone's not smiling at me, oh, what did I do to piss them off? Or it's so silly when it has nothing to do with me, right? Which
Mm-hmm.
is why Don Miguel's Four Agreements, don't take things personally, because that'll
That's a
get you
great
in
book.
trouble.
That's
And
a
he
great
was a
book.
guest on my show, and he's a friend of
Really?
mine. So,
I like that one. I like that book. I bet
he's
we've
amazing.
read a few things collectively.
Together, yes.
Like, I
Together.
mean, you and I think we've
Yeah,
read
yeah, yeah.
similar
Well, yeah. I
philosophies.
mean, I do feel like at least in one lifetime we were related somehow.
I know, right? Did you read The Power of Positive Thinking?
No, but I think I live it. But
Yeah, I think you do live that book. It's a very, very popular. It's a very old book, but
yeah,
that was one of my first like self-help books I ever read,
interesting
and I think you live in that philosophy
for sure.
for sure.
I had someone on. I've been swiping and dipping different parts of my body in the dating pool after
Okay.
7 years of being on a desert island by myself, and the guy, the one that I just matched with, said, "You have to be a positive person," and I'm thinking, I think I got that one.
Got that one in check.
So thanks for joining us for breakfast. It turned out to be longer than we needed it to be again, but that's okay. I encourage you to start your day with gratitudes, end your day with appreciation. So you're falling asleep, not thinking about what you didn't do or didn't get done, or how negative life is and how it sucks and how, who done you wrong. All of those things that a lot of people are doing before they go to bed because they do this MS and meaningless scrolling. Instead, Ricky and I would encourage you to fall asleep thinking about things that you like about yourself. That way, you'll get a good night's sleep, start up in the morning with gratitude again. If you do this for 28 consecutive days, this good life habit or hashtag Blisscipline, I promise you, you will sandwich your day in the most positive way. So thanks for joining us for breakfast. And now, drum roll, please, we are going to go into the topic of the day. And the person who will introduce us is my fabulous co-host, the On the Hollywood Rebel Report with Dr. Marissa and
Ricky Rebel.
here we go.
All right. So I'm going to show you what is happening Saturday, June 1st, 2024 through Sunday, June 2nd, 2024. It's Out Loud at WeHo Pride. So this is we're entering Pride Month, which is pretty cool. We got some really great acts that are going to be performing. Out Loud at WeHo Pride is an award-winning ticketed concert highlighting LGBTQ artistry. This star-studded, high-energy lineup celebrates and advocates for queer voices in music. I'm sorry, I don't like that. We'll talk about that word, but anyway.
Okay.
We'll talk about that word.
Yeah.
Advocates for, I'm going to say, LGBTQ voices in music, kicking off Pride season. This year's headliners include Kylie Minogue, Janelle Monáe, and Diplo, who's one of my favorite DJs and producers of all time. Diplo's amazing. And so we got, Out Loud Music Fest on Saturday, June 1st. We have Janelle Monáe. We have Noah Cyrus, which is Miley Cyrus's sister. And some other, interesting artists are going to be there. Very cool. Yeah.
And this is June 1st and 2nd in West Hollywood Park.
Yes. West Hollywood Park. And then we have Sunday. That's the one that I'm going to.
Okay.
One of my people that I really love is Kylie Minogue. She's going to be performing. And Diplo and Big Freedia, who's a really cool artist. Check her out. Very interesting. I can't describe her music. It's just high energy.
Okay.
A little naughty. We have Trixie Mattel, who is a winner of RuPaul's Drag Race. She's a drag queen, entrepreneur. She became a very wealthy, successful drag queen selling her makeup products. Interesting person, Trixie Mattel, smart, in business, I'll say. I don't know about other things, but and very funny. Very funny. Trixie Mattel. She's
Well,
gonna be performing as well.
that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Welcome to Jackson Crisp, who's popping in, randomly catching this. Keep up the positive vibes. Thanks, Randy.
Thanks, Randy. Appreciate
Yeah,
it. So if you go to the wehopepride.com, you could check it out and get your tickets there. I'll be there on Sunday.
that's this coming
It's a lot of
weekend.
fun. Yeah. This coming weekend.
Fantastic. Are
I
you
performed here before, actually. Yeah, I performed here.
was just going to ask that. How did
Uh-huh.
you know?
Yeah.
And will you be covering the carpet?
Yes, I will. I will cover it. I will take I'm gonna be there and get
That's
all of the yum yum. All of the yum yum. Yeah, I performed it on that. I just recognized that stage, exactly the one that's in the middle of the screen. It's like, oh
uh-huh.
my gosh, I've been there. Yeah. I've done a
That's
lot of these events actually. Out Loud was started by a singer called do you know Imagine Dragons? The band.
it rings a faint bell.
He's a straight whatever that means. A straight artist, musician, and he has had a lot of hits. And he grew up in a very Mormon area,
Mm,
and um, they were very anti-gay there, and
wow.
he was very uncomfortable by that. And he said he is going to do something about that and put together a huge music festival featuring LGBTQ artists. And also he's going to headline because they're such a huge band. And they invited me out to go to I'm sorry, what is Mormon country Mormon land?
Utah.
My father's a Mormon, so I'm not trying to be mean or anything, but he's not like a practicing
Collective
Mormon. We'll
memory.
talk about that later. But
Okay.
anyway,
Yeah.
yeah, so I got to, they invited me, they flew me out, I mean, hotels, I got to, front row and watch Zedd live, and I got to be a part of the whole thing. I got to meet Imagine Dragons, the lead singer, very, very nice man, very sexy person, and yeah, it is Utah.
Thanks, Deborah.
I'm like, what's Mormon land again? Anyway,
Yeah.
so yeah, so they started the Out Loud Festival, which is cool. So it's part of that.
Yeah.
Dan Reynolds is the lead singer. Thank you. Thank you
Deborah
so much.
is acting as Ricky's assistant this morning. Thank you so much, Deborah.
Yeah.
We appreciate that. Both of us have really
Do
good
you know who Deborah is, by the way?
No.
That's my mother.
Oh, hi, Mom. Hi. We met like before, I think briefly, no, online or something, but
Yeah,
anyway,
I think so. I think she was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
you got to see her.
Oh, thank you, Deborah. Well,
Mm.
then you're used to being an assist to your son.
She's there. She's on it.
Yeah,
She's on it.
that was one of the first things he said to me was how much he loved you. So I'm going to tell on him right now. So I think that's
Of
wonderful.
course.
All
100%.
right.
I love my mother and my father very much. So here we have We Hope Pride. We've got some more. Is this okay to share on the screen? I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's take a look at that. Here, We Hope Pride is the city of West Hollywood's annual LGBTQ Pride celebration. So this is the one that's going to be on the street. So I don't think you necessarily need tickets for this. It's We Hope Pride weekend, Friday, May 31st, which is today, to Sunday, June 2nd, 2024. And it's a lot of fun. I've performed at several prides all across the country. And people have a really good time. It's for all types of, everyone, straight people.
Right.
You don't have to be LGBT to go there and dance and have fun and meet people and just have a good time.
That's awesome. Yeah, I actually covered the Long Beach Pride Parade.
Nice.
That just went through here. Was it last weekend? maybe 2 weekends ago. I'm like so out of time. But yeah, it was great. And well, when you're done, remind me to show you something.
Yeah, let's do that. So WeHo Pride 2024, Wednesday, May 22nd, Sunday, the June 30th, 2024. WeHo Pride kicks off on Harvey Milk Day, May 22nd, with a special event. WeHo Pride weekend will take place with from Friday, May 31st through Sunday, June 2nd, with Out Loud at WeHo Pride. The WeHo Pride Street Fair, the Women's Freedom Festival, and I can't say that word, WeHo Pride Parade, and much more. This year's WeHo Pride Arts Festival will take place from Friday, June 14th through Sunday and June 16th with various events and programming. Throughout the 40 days from May 22nd to June 30th, there will be community group events at various locations. WeHo Pride offers something for everyone, and be sure to check out the events page for more details. You know, I am, of course, a would you say an advocate for LGBT?
Yes. Yes, I am. For
right?
Sure. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, advocate. I'm not an activist. I have a real problem when people label me an activist.
Oh,
Does that make sense? Because
yes,
the reason why I'm not an activist is because I don't necessarily want to change people's minds about what the things that I believe in. Right? It's like, this is just what I believe in, and this is what I want to do. But I don't need you to agree, to change your mind or point of view or anything. I'm not here to make people think something else. So I'm not an activist for the LGBT community. I am an advocate for it. I really believe in what I believe in.
Mm-hmm.
That we
I like
should,
that distinction. I don't think I've heard it like that, but I would also, and I think that the for me, the semantic difference is advocate is support, whereas activist is a strong, like dogmatic push, right? I'm not saying that there isn't a place.
Yeah.
Right. But I don't like to push against things, because that's law of attraction in reverse. And the more I push, if I hate drugs, or if I hate, obesity, the war against drugs, the war against obesity, it's still a war. And that negative energy, that hatred is just hatred. Again, you're not hating something, you're not hating. I'd rather support, healthy food and exercise, and support naturally high vibes.
Right.
Right. And that's a positive advocating, supporting what it is that you do want instead of what you don't want. Thanks for that, Ricky. I love learning new things.
You're welcome. I'm glad. Yeah.
So we're going to take a quick break now to hear a word from our sponsor. Don't go away. You are tuned to Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind. 25 years strong, #1 talk in the IE. We will be right back in 2 and 2. Don't go away.
I love that theme song.
Yeah, isn't that cool? And it just makes you want to dance.
Yeah.
And we are so delighted. Are you living in fear? Have technology and culture hijacked our minds and lives? Yes, fear is a natural biological response with plenty of evolutionary benefits. But has it gone too far? Find the answer to that question in the riveting book by Dr. Patrick Lockwood, The Fear Problem, available at Amazon and Mascot Books. So get your copy today.
back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And
Wonderful.
welcome back, and thanks to the word from our sponsor, who is lovingly supporting this series called the Hollywood Rebel Report with Dr. Marissa and
Ricky Rebel.
And we are on, actually, we stream to over 100 countries here. You can watch and listen on my YouTube TV channel, streaming on iHeartRadio, Spotify, and of course, NBC News Radio, KCAA, AM 1050, FM 106.5, home to the Asian Oprah, coming to you live every weekday morning, 9 a.m., right after the NBC News at the top of the hour Pacific time. And today we are on the eve of a very important month called Pride Month. And we do have our host here who is bringing us wonderful things that we can do to celebrate and advocate for LGBTQA plus community. And Ricky is just invited you to a number of things. And I think you can go find those things out online. Just ask my assistant Google to look up WeHo, which is a cute acronym for West Hollywood Celebration for Pride. And now we're going to actually talk about Pride, because I think it's an important topic to illustrate and also not debate at all, but maybe expand our understanding and maybe talk about some of the sensitive points around it. And I can't think of a better person to maneuver us through that. And we have a good morning here from Kiki Martinez Gonzalez. And thank you. You love watching us, guys and girl. That's awesome. And I wanted to show you real quick. This is my advocate. Let's see, is it going to show it? I don't know why it's not turning around. Okay. Maybe we're not on the camera that I want to, but I will do that in a minute. There's a beautiful rainbow lifeguard station that's right outside my window that was burned down. And they rebuilt it and repainted it. And it's all volunteer based by our local Long Beach lifeguards, fire, emergency crew. And I got to be part of that reopening of that. And every morning I get to see it and say, I support and advocate for the rainbow community.
Thank you.
So, absolutely. I'll figure out why that didn't show in a second, but go ahead.
Well, I appreciate that. I think growing up, it was difficult for me being in the industry. I grew up in the 80s and 90s. I was a child actor, dancer, singer. And I just remember casting directors telling me, or a lot of people telling me, managers, producers, telling me that I was too feminine, telling me that I need to tone down the girl thing, telling me that I need to be more masculine in order to work or do anything. I need to hide any sort of femininity about me. So that was difficult. Not to say that if you're playing a role, I understand now as I've grown up, I realized that if you're playing a role and the role needs you to be masculine or you need to be straight, then you need to play the role. There's nothing personal about that. But I just remember one particular time that really kind of hurt my feelings a lot. I was in a really big dance crew called Marguerite. Teen dance. Wait, what were teen company in LA? Do you remember Tremaine? Well, Tremaine was a big dance studio in like the 90s. And there was a choreographer who was a very, very big choreographer. Her name was Marguerite Derricks. She became very famous for Austin Powers. She put me in that movie, as well as the other teens that were in her company. We were a company. And I have to tell you, when I say this, I'm not bragging. I'm telling you, we were the greatest dancers in LA. Period. Wade Robson came from that camp. He is the big director for Britney Spears, and worked a lot with Michael Jackson as a choreographer and dancer. Charles Claypool, who's won Emmys, he used to dance with me every day, and I love him, and he loves me. And um,
Mm,
he's a great choreographer. Danced with Michael Jackson. These are all my friends who I grew up with. I grew up with heavy hitter dancers and choreographers. But I'll never forget that one day when I was dancing to one of Marguerite's combos. It was to Prince. Okay, we all love Prince. She loved Prince. Played him
mhm,
every day, and
mm,
no wonder my music sounds a lot like that because I know every single Prince song up and down because of this woman. I also know Stevie Wonder because of this woman. I know Earth, Wind, and Fire because of this woman. A lot of my education on music came from Marguerite Derrick, so I love her very much. When I tell you this story, I'm not saying it to be mean to her at all, but
mhm.
she did a combo to "If I Was Your Girlfriend" to Prince, which is a very cool song. It's Prince telling this girl, "I wanna be so close to you that I wanna be your girlfriend. Like, I wanna go
Okay.
shopping with you. I want you to, dress me up. I wanna do all the things that girlfriends do together. I wanna be really close to you like a girlfriend, if I was your
Mhm,
girlfriend." And he sings very feminine on this song.
mhm.
And we did a dance to it, and I danced to it the way I felt. Like, I really, the choreography was very sexy and very sensual, and I delivered what I thought she wanted and what they did, and she called me out in front of the whole class, and she said, "Ricky, you cannot dance like that. You're a man. You cannot dance like that. You need to
Mm,
dance like a man." And I was just like, I was really taken aback by that. I was just a kid, around
yeah,
16 years old or something,
yeah,
and it really hurt me, embarrassed me,
right.
because I thought I was doing the right thing. And this has happened over and over in my life, where I really thought, "Oh, I'm playing the role that this person wants me to do. I'm playing, right? The Leo, having
Mm,
fun." And then this person embarrassed me. And it's also happened in audition for Fame, actually. Same thing. She told me, she said, "Ricky, you're dancing too feminine for these casting directors,"
mm,
which is fine for her to tell me. But I actually am not a very feminine dancer, especially back then.
mhm,
I was like a technical jazz dancer, and I wasn't particularly feminine.
mhm.
Now I'm pretty now I've
Rubber,
embraced it. Now I
rubber,
run
yeah,
now
a
I'm
lot.
Veronica sometimes, I've really embraced, uh, my femininity and not ashamed of it, but it's because of moments like that where I had to realize, like, "Hey, you know what? It's feminine does not mean bad."
Mhm, mhm,
And a
for
lot of
sure.
people, I think in this our society, I think they think that feminine means weak and
Mhm,
not good.
right.
So
Uh,
I yeah,
on both genders, on
on both
both genders. Look at our
really?
look
Yeah.
at our history,
Oh,
right?
they villainized women countless times,
Yeah,
made them the enemy for they're feminine, like seducing people. You know what I mean? Like they've
villainized. Mhm,
villainized, yeah, because women represent isn't it, the yin and the yang, the light
mhm,
and the dark, the darkness, right? That people are afraid of the dark.
yeah,
They're afraid of femininity, and that's basically what LGBT is about, pride. It's about the feminine energy that a man sometimes can possess. You're gonna
mhm,
have to deal with it.
mhm,
You're gonna have to have a moment with yourself and figure out why if you are homophobic or if you are anti-gay or scared of it, why are you afraid of
mhm.
the feminine side of
Yeah,
anything?
I just
Yeah, that's my
yeah,
point.
yeah, a great point. I just got chills because the awareness now that we came from I call it Newtonian thinking. Is it right, wrong, good, bad? What category is what gender is it? right? Very distinct, either or, right? And one is better and one is worse. And all of this gender fluidity that many of the older generation are having a real difficulty. They use religion as a reason that it's wrong. They use society as a reason that it's wrong. All of that is really a movement to systemic thinking, which is, it's not either or, it's all. It's
both and
different gradations, which a rainbow is a beautiful example of. You can have it all and yet have distinct different colors.
Yeah.
Right? It's not a brown where all the colors mesh together, when you were a kid and you mixed all the colors together. They're distinct differences, but there's a gradation and a flow from masculine to feminine energy, from, gay to straight. And all of those different categories are just the ability to now come out literally, to not judge this is a good or this is a bad.
Right. I see that.
That the visual just hit me just now.
You got that.
The rainbow's not just about different colors. The rainbow is about the way we can coexist with all of the different colors and flavors.
Yeah. I can relate to when you said the older generation having a problem I can relate. I have a problem with it too. Sometimes I'm like, I don't understand, but that's being the bottom line is like, oh, somebody told me to call somebody, they corrected me. I don't know. I don't want to get too controversial, but he corrected me because I said he, and he was like, it's they. And I'm like, I'm not going to say that. I'm sorry. I'm going to call him, but you know what I'm going to do? We were talking about the winner of the Songwriter of the Year award or whatever that was. Remember that the big contest?
Yeah.
Songs. He was the winner. His name is Nemo. Or technical terms, their name is Nemo. And I'm like, I won't do that. I'm so sorry. But you know what I will do? I'm going to call this person Nemo for the rest of my life.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to say this person, Nemo. Nemo said this. Nemo. So the way to get over those, if you have a problem, because I'm sorry, it's very, I don't get it. They means two, and you're only one human being. That's what I believe. So it's about respecting. So the way that you can kind of navigate the waters through all of those things is to play. You can play the game, but you play it on your terms. You say, I'm only going to call you by your name because I don't want to disrespect you by calling you something that's, mispronoun you.
Yeah.
However, I'm not going to disrespect myself by, you know what I mean? Pretending something that I don't think. So you're Nemo for the rest of your life. And you're also a person. That person said this.
So I'm gonna put the boots on the table, which is my Canadian version of talking about the elephant in the room. And it's perfect because we're going to relate it back to what we talked about earlier around advocate versus
activist.
Activist. Thank you. So the person who corrected you is an activist because they're trying to force the change on everyone. Okay. And not from a mean-spirited way, but they are showing their respect by wanting people to respect those terms.
Correct.
Is that fair?
That's fair.
Right. And you want to show respect without having to change the way that you believe about something.
Right.
Right. And therein we have the conflict. So
Yes.
as a diversity consultant, the reason why I'm a doctor is I have a PhD in organizational psychology. And one of the things
Wow.
that I do is talk about valuing diversity. And so when we were even talking about the differences in gender, ma'am, lady, why do people not like their doors? Why do women don't like their doors open for them anymore? Why don't women like to be called ladies anymore? Or why is it sometimes good to call you queer and sometimes not good to call you queer? All of
Not good
these
for me. Don't ever call me queer.
correctness.
For me personally, don't ever call me that.
Right. But here's
Yeah.
the deal. Here's the deal. And you illustrated perfectly. It's like I don't understand it, right? And my whole suggestion is some things you'll never understand. But if someone's saying to you to be respectful, when they say, please call me this, or please don't call me this, they're saying to you, just like you just said, please don't use queer as a term for me. That is an offer from you that if you want to show respect to you, then watch how you address me. That's all it is. It's an invitation from that person to connect with them and not piss them off with that particular thing. All it is. When a person says you are being racist, instead of reacting to I have Asian friend, I eat Chinese, whatever your reaction
Right.
is to stop and just say, help me understand how you're perceiving that as racist, or what is setting you off around that term. And instead of arguing with them that it's not correct, or you're being overreactive, or you're being too sensitive, it's just to listen to what they say and just say, that's interesting. You don't have to understand it. You don't have to believe it. You don't have to swallow it. You just say,
There it is.
that's interesting. That's how
Thank you for
we
sharing.
through diverse conversations and get out of political correctness, which kind of drove all the discrimination underground. So that's my diversity lesson for the day. And I think it's just something that, you know, we do react, and we do also, as Americans, we don't want to be wrong. We don't like being told not to use a term. We don't like being told that we are being racist. We don't like being told anything, really, right? We're independent thinkers, speakers, actors. We want to, well, I'm the boss of me. Don't get in my way.
Yeah,
That's our normal.
both sides do not want to be wrong.
Right.
Nobody wants to be wrong.
Right. We
Or
grew up
feel.
in school, right? Do we hold up our hand and go, I want to be wrong? No, you want to be right. That's how we're raised. It's a big forking deal to be right. But in this area of diversity, there is no right. Because I'll have some people say, well, then give me the Bible that tells me what terms I can use and what terms to avoid. And I get to tell you, well, it'll change tomorrow. And not everybody follows that Bible. It's not about correctness. It's about respect. If you want to be more effective with a wider group of people, then don't you want to know that your intent to be respectful is landing as an impact of being respectful? Intent and impact. You want to be more effective? Then watch your impact.
I had this conversation with someone like last night. Exactly same thing. We had a moment. We had a conversation. It got a little bit moment. It was a moment, and it was political. And he said, that my perspective is myopic, and that it's short-sighted sometimes, you know? He's like, "You're so cute." Like, but in the sense that, you know, sometimes we have to broaden. There is an outside world outside of ourselves, and people who think like me, who are very strong-willed, very,
Yeah,
you
we're
know,
both strong.
we're both
And
very, you know, it's hard for us to, he just said, there's an outside world of people that you talked about the impact that we have to think about, or we have to be as you said, respectful of, if we want to progress in this world and have a beautiful, life, or if we want to
If we want to be happy 88% of the time, do you really
that's a
want to
part
be
of
in
it.
conflict with every single person that you interact with?
I
Do
don't.
you? No.
No.
So, and people will come back at me and go, well, freedom of speech, amendment, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, nobody said ever that you couldn't say what you want to say. However, there's responsibility for what you're saying. So if you
There's an impact.
want to say whatever, go ahead. But if there's a consequence to that, if you piss off 99 of the people you're with, you got to take responsibility for that.
Which I did.
Exactly.
And you know what? I did. I pissed off like a lot of people, but I also got a lot of love. And here's what's happened. One person did not want me to perform at their event for WeHo Pride because of these things that I spoke out about, my freedom of speech that I did. They had a problem with it, of what I said and what I did. But then another person came along, Stefano. Love you, Stefano. He said, you're going to perform at my event, June 6th. I'm performing June 6th at Mickey's, one of the biggest nightclubs in West Hollywood. He knows me in my heart because I performed for him. This other company, there's other people who gave me the gig and then took it away. They don't really know me. They didn't take the time to get to know me. So that's another thing that I think we need to do as a culture, as society, is really get to know each other, get on the phone with people, have a conversation in person, and get to know who they really are outside of these, hot button issues. There's so much more to life than these things. But because Stefano loves me, he doesn't like necessarily all the things I believe, but he loves me. And he's like, Ricky's performing. Of course, I'm having Veronica get up there, Ricky Rebel, and all of that. And so I'm grateful for that. I don't know how this ties into what we were saying, but maybe you could tie it in.
Yeah. The expectation that everyone's going to love you, the expectation that everyone's going to agree with you, the expectation that everybody's going to see things the way you do are crazy making. So my going in is there a match? And when there's a match, go where the love is. And when there isn't a match at that time, it doesn't mean that there's not going to be a match later, but right now there's not a match. So it's not about someone judging you. There's just not a match. I use that for dating too, right?
It's not a match.
It takes the personal zing out of it, right? It's like everybody wants. I when I do relationship coaching, this always kills me. Usually the woman will say, "I just want a guy to love me the way I am, exactly as I am," right? And then when they bring in their partner, I don't like this, I don't like that, I don't like that about them, right? So that's human. That's human. We want to be understood. We want to be loved. My bonus dad says it perfectly. He's 94. Oh, shoot, we're out of time. He's 94, and he says everybody just wants to be loved, wanted, and needed. And it's true. Thank you so much, Ricky. As usual, we ran out of time. We're probably going to get cut off right now. But thanks so much for joining us at the Hollywood Ricky Rebel Report today. Go be an advocate for pride. Everybody is of value. It's all about balance. Peace in, peace out. World peace through, inner peace. See you on Monday. Now go and have the best day ever. Thanks, Rick.